Hello, it's me. So this week I am bringing you this peachy glam goddess look. I'm honestly living for this look right now. I'm so excited to show you how I accomplished it. I hope you're excited too, and let's get started. And I'm just gonna be fanning myself all day, and everyone's gonna have to be okay with that. And the first step in anybody's makeup routine should always be primer. I'm using the Laura Mercier foundation primer in Radiance. I like to focus this on the high points of my face, even though it's a foundation primer. I actually don't wear foundation. It irritates my skin, breaks me out, if you care. As we can see, Mama's got a little dryness going around on my nose. I can't fix it. I don't know if anyone has any advice. It's kind of happening up here too. Even though we just got started, sit tight because I'm gonna do my brows off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, I have not been using eyeshadow primers recently, and let me tell you why. I always use the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion, and usually in Enigma. For some unknown reason, it's been discontinued. So I bought Eden, which is shockingly too light for my skin tone. I know, I look like a ghost, I'm very, very pale, and I have the freckles, but this is too light for me. So what I've been using recently is just concealer. I'll lay down a first layer of concealer and take it up above the eyes, and then set my eyelids, but not my under eyes, because we're gonna be going in with concealer again, and it's not cute to set liquid with powder and then put another liquid on top of it. That's how you get cake face real quick. So I'm using everybody's favorite Tarte Shape Tape. I'm in the shade Light. This goes a long way, so you wanna be careful. Two big dots where I have the most darkness, another medium size in the middle, and then a little one, and then just one on my eyelid. And then with the damp Beauty Blender, I like to use the Beauty Blusher, which is the middle size, which I think is meant for cream blush and highlight, but it's perfect for my concealer. So of course you wanna dampen it, and then you just buff away the dark circles. This just helps neutralize everything. I always recommend an eyeshadow primer no matter what, because it'll just make the shadows more vibrant, more true to color. Okay, so once that is all done, right? Ooh, nope. Gotta be blended. Cause I don't wear foundation, I like to take either the butt or the tip, whichever has more, the butt or the tip, you guys. Whichever has more product on it, and just go over some of the red spots, like that. Okay, not because it's dry, but just because it's a little red, I'm just gonna take a little bit. Let me take a second because I'm sweating. Now, eyeshadow. I like to use an eyeshadow shade that's closest to my skin color. ColourPop eyeshadow. These beauties here, if you don't know ColourPop, you gotta get on that game. These eyeshadows are $5 a piece. You heard me right. Actually, can we check on that? I really wanna check to make sure those are $5. I'm pretty sure they are.
Yes.
Thank you. There's no reason not. And with how cheap everything is, you could get 5 or 6 products for $30, and where else is that true? So I am using the shade Hear Me Out, which is like a peachy cream color closest to my skin tone. I'm just gonna take a big flat brush and just pat that in. I'm not gonna focus it on the lid. I'm just gonna focus it on my crease and below my brow bone. Okay, so now I'm going in with this second shade here, Issues. Okay, it's a little bit darker than that first shade we put down. We're gonna take it in our crease with a fluffy blending brush. Any blending brush will do. I'm partial to the Smith Cosmetics 232 brush. I used to be on the MAC 217, but these have quickly replaced the MAC brushes for me. I'm going into that shade Issues, and I'm just going to buff that into my crease. And at first you might not see too much color, but that's exactly what we want. We're building up the color slowly so it's not so stark right away. So I like to use a combination of windshield wiper motions and circular motions. Okay, a really good trick is to blend with either a clean blending brush or a brush with no additional product on it, because I've laid down what I want to lay down. The pigmentation's where I want it. I just want to make sure it's as blended as it possibly can be. You can't blend enough. Let's just put it that way. Now that we've got our general crease shade going on, I'm just going to intensify that a little bit with this third shade right here. Beep, beep. This one is called Centerfolds. So I'm gonna go in with a light hand because ColourPop don't play with their matte pigmentation. Placement is just a little more specific right in the crease. And I'm gonna take it in, but I'm not gonna go all the way to my inner corner like I did with that first shade. Okay. Great. And this is where blending gets really serious. Because I'm a perfectionist, I like to go in again with that first crease shade just to blend out and diffuse the darker crease shade so it's a more seamless interaction, if you will. This is such a great technique, especially for beginners, because honestly, it's foolproof. You just put on a product, and if it's too much, just buff and blend it away, and it's beautiful. When I'm happy with my crease, which I think I am, I'm gonna go in with the lid. Any flat shader brush works. I'm gonna go in with that second crease color, and I'm just gonna pat that on my lid. Starting from the outer corner, and I always like to start at the lash line and build it up from there. Focus this primarily on the inner and outer corners, again, starting from the lash line and working up into the crease. We're gonna do a little halo effect today, okay? When it's up to my desired level of pigmentation, I'm gonna go back with that beautiful blending brush, take that first crease shade again, buff out the edges. Okay, you guys. Next, I'm gonna take my Juvia's Place Nubian palette. This palette is so beautiful. Is everyone looking at this? Can we see? I mean, is this just not the warm eyeshadow palette of your dreams? I'm going to take this shade right here, and I'm going to take that same shader brush that we took before, just give it a little wipe, you know? And I'm just gonna put that right over that same peach shade centerfold. Watch the magic.
Creamsicle Dream.
All right, y'all. This little baby right here is the Stila Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. Shade Kitten Karma. This is a gorgeous like rose gold that I have been loving on the center of my lid in one of these like really soft peachy halo eyes that I've been rocking every day this spring and summer, pretty much. These are pigmented as hell, so just be careful. Starting at the very center of my lid from the lash line and moving up. It's gonna be wider near the lash line and then narrower the closer we get to the crease. And there we have that beautiful little eye. Now that our lids are pretty much done for the time being, we're gonna move on to the second layer of concealer. Next concealer I'm going in with is a new favorite recommended by Manny MUA. This is the Maybelline There's no name on it, but it looks like this. I'm in shade Light. This I'm just gonna sweep, again, it's also pretty pigmented, nothing like the Tarte Shape Tape, but I'm just gonna sweep it under my eyes, run it down the top of my nose, and then I'm just gonna buff that out. The setting powder I'm using today is Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. So I'm just gonna take that and set it real quick. I don't like to use too much powder because I have very dry skin and very dry under eyes, and loose powder is far more drying than pressed powder. And then because we put on that Radiance foundation primer earlier, there are certain parts of my face I don't want to look shiny, and that is right here. So I'm just gonna set that. I'm gonna take that down to my chin as well and swirl it into under my cheekbones where I'm going to place my contour later. This just helps any powder go on a little smoother. Snatched. Next, bronzing. I'm going to take the Real Techniques blush brush, whip, with the Milani Baked Bronzer. This is in shade Dolce. I'm just going to start in the hollows of my cheeks where I would normally contour, blending in circular motions upwards. We don't want to take it down, we want to take it up. I'm just trying to warm up my face a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna take that bronzer just a little above the cheekbones onto the temple, and then from there, with a lighter hand up onto the sides of my forehead. And then sometimes I just like to really quickly run it right where my hairline is. Let's just run it down the neck a little bit. Never hurts. So I'm taking the exact same brush. I like keeping that little bit of bronzer on there so that when I go in with my blush, it blends even more seamlessly into the bronzer. I cannot get enough of Luminoso. Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. If you don't know this blush, you need to run to the drugstore immediately and get it. And peach, you know, it's the shade of the season. What can I say? Swirling just the tip of my brush. I don't want to get too much of the base involved. I'm gonna be focusing this on my cheekbones, right in between the temple area and the apples. And I will take it further up into the temples to blend it with the bronzer and make the cheekbones appear a little higher. Blending up, just a little flush. Next, highlighting. I have been on this sleek makeup game for some time now, and I'm not sick of it. This is the Sleek Highlighting Palette in Solstice. There are 4 shades in here. One is a cream, and then we have this gorgeous lavender color, a peach, and then this yellow. Obviously, I'm going into the peach. I'm just taking this same setting brush that we used earlier to set the under eyes, but it's actually a different one. So I'm going to swirl the tip of this into that peachy shade and just go to town. Oh yeah. I'm gonna run that up into the temples. I won't put any excess product when I run it up, and then I just like to run it up the sides, right above the arch of my brow to the top of my hairline. And then again, on the other side. I'm not a huge nose contour highlight person, but sometimes I'll just take a little bit and just run it right on down. And then of course, I always like to highlight my Cupid's bow just above my lip. Okay, I'm going to set my face with a little setting spray. Right now, I'm feeling this Amore Pacific. I got it at Sephora in a duo that also came with their enzyme peel. It's called Moisture Bound Skin Energy Hydration Delivery System. After I've spritzed and fanned, if there's any extra drops, like right there, buff it out with the butt end of my beauty blender. So now we're going back into the lower lash line. I always like to do my face before the lower lash line. I don't know why. I'm gonna go into the shade Issues and Centerfold and just sort of create a little lighter peachy shade, tap off the excess, and then just run it along my lower lash line. Last step on the eyes is to highlight that inner quarter and the brow bone into that Juvia's Place palette that we used earlier. This first shade here, it is a really lovely, creamy, peachy, but much lighter shade that has a pink shift to it. And pop that right in my inner corner. It doesn't give such a huge brightness. That's what I like about it, honestly. And I'm gonna take that same shade and really just gonna focus it on the arch. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go do my lashes off camera and I'll be right back. I hate doing lashes. I just hate it so much. Okay. Now that the lashes are on, not without struggle, we're gonna move on to lips. I'm priming with ColourPop Cosmetics Lip Primer. Prime the lips. And then we're gonna go in with Ofra Cosmetics Makes some of my favorite liquid lipsticks of all time. Their formula is a little moussier, but it's not drying. It keeps your lips moisturized and stays matte, and I love it. This is in the shade Coco's Island. Lipstick on. I love this lip so much. Okay, you guys, this is the finished look for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. I'm really feeling this monochromatic, peachy glam with a little sparkle. If you want to see more of this beautiful face right here, hit the subscribe button below. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lauren Marie NYC. See you guys next week.